Another week, another update for Black Stigma. And this update is going to be a small one, but there is quite a big adjustment to the combat. But let's get into it. Content improvements. Added a pop-up in the lobby to check all currently applied item effects. And I'm assuming that's the experience buffs for weapons, characters, battle pass, and so on. Improved so that invincibility status at the start of a round or right after respawn is also visible in first person view. Content adjustments, and this is what I believe is probably going to make the close combat feel smoother and probably a little bit quicker. Changes to action combat logic. The activation logic of action skills and the criteria for kill counts have been updated. So we'll go into the type, which is when attacking an enemy who is under a duo action. The combat situation is when A is grabbing or restraining B and a third party C attacks the restrained B. And now we'll see what the changes are when this situation goes into play. When C attacks, which would be B in this case, only damage is applied without animation. HP decreases without a hit reaction motion. Skills with connected actions, combo type skills, will not apply follow-up hits. Example, Grasper's body throw, only the first hit is applied. Subsequent hits are not applied. So basically anyone and any master who has the follow-up combo, the second damage won't apply. So they use Grasper's throw, which basically does damage on grab. Either it's grab or on toss. But the second damage is when the person you throw hits the ground. So when it does that second damage, it won't count. And another example could be Parabellum's, I forget exactly which button it is, I think it's E, where you grab them and you toss them, and then you could body slam them. And I'm assuming that when you body slam, that second animation and hit won't do any damage. And then there's number 2. The kill count is attributed to the player who initiated the duo action. I see. Okay, so that means that with this new change, you won't be able to steal another person's kill, whether that's your teammates or the enemy. This attribution remains for 2 seconds after the duo action ends. Unchanged elements. Thrown weapon damage is applied. Axe, knife, bow, bomb. Firearm damage is applied. Notes: previously applied only to certain characters, which was only 10 and paper, now expanded to all characters, which I find this kind of interesting because that means that they were testing this system on at least 2 characters to see how it would go. At least that's the way I see it. Of course, I could be wrong, but it's still interesting to think about. And the second one is when attacking an enemy performing a duo action. When A is holding B and a third party C attacks A who is holding B. And the changes would be C's attack skills function normally, animation and damage are applied. Action skills with connected sequences are also applied. In this case, the target B who was under the duo action will be released by the skill effect. And the unchanged elements are thrown weapon, axe, knife, bow, bomb, firearm damage is applied, kill count rules remain the same. Previously applied only to certain characters, 10 paper, and now it affects all characters. Then we go on to Smile Sim, adjusted the knockdown distance of the shield bash Q, skill from 7 meters to 6 meters, movement distance adjusted to allow linkage with heavy smash E. So I think they probably did this nerf so that when you combo Sim's Q, which is the dash one, and you use heavy smash, which she pounds on the ground, it looks smoother and feels smoother. But I feel like that kind of makes her even weaker, because the distance, you still have to move a bit more in order to be able to land her E. But we'll see how that works out. But for sure, this change will make the animations look smoother, especially when doing both the combos. Adjusted so that no delay occurs when using roll or dodge skills and transitioning into movement. Affected characters: Nano, Kyra, Hand, Crush, Twin, Grasper. And this again will also make things smoother. So I believe reading these changes, it's all about making things look smooth and feel smooth, which is good, because sometimes the movements could be clunky, especially when you try to combo them into other things. So you could do an ability and then, you know, shift to dodge, and sometimes it just felt really slow or it just didn't feel right. Optimization: optimize graphic resources for certain characters. Bug fixes: fixed an issue where players crouching behind low cover could still be hit by skills used from outside the cover. Fixed an issue in versus mode where the stock increase effect disappeared after death when purchased in the battle shop. Fixed an issue where the reset timer in the lobby mission info window did not update immediately after switching tabs. Fixed an issue where Parabellum's face was not displayed properly when aiming at close range while wearing the old brown costume. Fixed an issue where part of Zero's tie was not displayed correctly in the introduction video when wearing the Master Black costume. Fixed an issue where Smile Sim's shield and Crush's gear did not take damage when hit by Hollow Point's electronic needle, which actually reading that kind of makes me think that maybe there's systems in the background that make it so that some abilities don't take damage, and it's obviously unintentional since it's in the bug fixes section. But it seems so far it's only Sim and Crush that seem to have had this issue, but I know it's happened to when going up against other characters, but we'll see what happens in future bug fixes. Fix an issue where leaving the area of one's poison gas or hand's white phosphorus grenade caused continuous damage ticks even after being safe behind cover. And that's due to the previous change where they made it so that you cannot take any damage from gas or fire when you're on the opposite side of a wall, which would make sense because it shouldn't be able to go through walls. And the final one, fixed an issue where firearm firing positions remained the same regardless of whether a compensator or suppressor was equipped. And that's about it for this update. But I do want to mention two things that I've noticed when checking in on the game and what they didn't basically announce in this update was that they've added a new intro to the game when you launch it.
Run away if you don't want to get cursed. Going in. Don't mess with me if you wish to live.
You won't dodge this!
Curse you!
Come out before I smash everything!
I'll lift that curse with death. Death will come for you.
And they actually added a Halloween lobby theme, which if you look at it, it's actually pretty nice. And it makes you wonder about the future of other themed events, whether it has to do holidays, maybe they might do collaborations, but the way they did the lobby is really nice. It's really good. It makes you wish and hope that future updates they do the same, but they go even further and decorate the maps and maybe add a skybox to go with the theme, which is what I suggested in the Discord, and they did respond. So hopefully the next themed event, when it happens, they just go all out and you know, show us that they can actually do a proper event, because this Halloween, it's not bad, but it could have definitely been better. But in the Discord, I believe right now as we speak, they're working on the Christmas event update, so we'll see what happens with that. That's all I have for this one. Have a good one, and I hope to see you guys in game.